Most people think of bad or even horrible things when they hear about North Korea. We're talking about a dictatorship passed down from father to son in the name of communism. A supreme leader who claims in his official biography that he does not even go to the toilet. Those who criticize the regime are sent immediately to a prison camp, sometimes even by multiple family generations. Citizens lack the freedom to go abroad or even travel within the country. Jail sentences are handed out for watching South Korean movies. The internet is completely forbidden, and the only available media is state television. There are 10 million people living in near starvation in a country of 25 million. We are talking about a country where 1,000 people flee at the risk of death every year. But despite its status as the most totalitarian country in the world, could there be any advantages to living in North Korea? I've reviewed objective sources and interviews with fleeing North Koreans for you, and although it's hard to believe, I found that there are some good things about living in North Korea. Welcome to Exit 10. Number 10. Sincere relationships. North Korea's borders are closed to its own citizens. You can cross the border only when the state allows you to go abroad. In an article from the New York Times in 2018, it was stated that 30,000 North Koreans found a way to flee the country. One of those who managed to escape by risking her life is a woman named Jae-young Kim, who now lives in South Korea. I read an interview with her, and the journalist asked her the exact question I was in search of answering. Jae-young says that the best thing about living in North Korea is that in her former country, human relations are much warmer and people are much more quote-unquote pure-hearted. Here's the full quote. Compared to my current life in South Korea, life in North Korea was mentally rich, even if it was materially insufficient. The reason for this is because of the pure-hearted and affection of North Koreans. Here in South Korea, there are lots of people with affection, but in the north, especially in rural areas, affection between neighbors is very pure and deep. In North Korea, on birthdays and national holidays, families and neighbors gather and share with one another. Number 9. Turning power cuts into fun. Have a look at this satellite image taken by NASA. Take a look at the night. Everywhere is bright in South Korea and China, but North Korea is blanketed in complete darkness. And why is that, you ask? Because North Korea wants to save electricity, so the state cuts off electricity throughout the country some nights, and apparently these power outages bring the desired effect. In South Korea, people consume 10,162 kilowatt hours of energy per person per year. North Koreans use a comparatively minuscule 739 kilowatt hours of energy per person per year. During my research, I came across a Business Insider report about power outages in North Korea. The article said entire streets shut down and people go to bed early with nothing else to do in the darkness. According to Jae-young's childhood memories, it is not possible to say that North Koreans just went to bed when the power went out. The refugee exclaims, "During nights, we gathered together, turned music on, and danced. On days when electricity went out, we used to play the accordion, sing, dance, and have fun. I used to have so much fun and danced so hard that my socks had holes when I checked them in the morning." Number 8. Unique school culture. North Korea is a communist country, so as you can imagine, education is of course for free. Actually, there's nothing too interesting or unusual about this fact in and of itself, as many countries have public schools. But according to Jae-young, who fled to South Korea, North Korea has a unique school culture. She explains in an interview as follows. Unlike in South Korea, if a student falls behind, teachers help them after school hours. Moreover, students who are good at schoolwork help other students. In addition, if a student wants to learn how to play an instrument or a certain sport, they can learn for free. I used to learn how to play the guitar and accordion. Number 7. Good and free healthcare. North Korea is a poor country, and for this reason, it is necessary to compare their state-provided services with those of other poor countries. And when approached in this context, the healthcare that North Korea provides its people seems great. According to data provided by the World Health Organization, North Korea has the highest number of doctors per capita amongst low-income countries, with 3.7 physicians per 1,000 people, and this figure is also significantly higher than that of South Korea. Every North Korean individual has a lifetime health card which contains the full medical record of that person. The universal insurance system covers operations, checkups, and medication. In other words, everything you can think of when it comes to healthcare is completely free. Number 6. The state provides homes to everyone. You don't have to worry about a mortgage in North Korea, because the state gives you a home to live in. This may not be the home of your dreams, but you'll have a place to stay and you won't end up on the streets. Kim Ryan-hui, who fled North Korea in 2016, states that there are no homeless people in her old country. The reason for this is, of course, that the state gives homes or apartments to each family. Number 5. No negative effects of religion. The political system in North Korea is based on Marxism. In fact, the North Korean constitution says that every citizen has the freedom of religion. However, things are very different in practice. In schools, children are regularly told about the negative effects of religion and its harms on society. Leaders criticize religion, and anti-religious propaganda films are broadcast on state television. So what is the result of this? Despite a population of 25 million, North Korea reports to the UN Human Rights Committee there are only 12,000 Protestants, 10,000 Buddhists, 800 Catholics, and 15,000 practitioners of Kondoism. If you are someone who believes that religion is necessary, you might feel very disappointed by the North Koreans' distance to spiritual worship. However, if you think that religions are a hindrance to the development of society, then you might consider the absence of religion in North Korea as an advantage of living in that country. Number 4. Healthy seafood. Unfortunately, fish and shellfish may contain heavy metals, including mercury. The reason for this is water pollution caused by industrialization. Surprisingly, seafood exports once occupied an important place amongst North Korea's vital revenues. However, after sanctions imposed by the United Nations Security Council, North Korea was banned from exporting seafood in 2017. But despite the ban, seafood continuously arrives illegally from North Korea to South Korea. The reason for this is simply high consumer demand. For example, a vendor speaking to South Korea's largest newspaper says, "We have openly labeled shellfish that comes from North Korea because customers consider it to be superior." In fact, South Korea is a peninsula country and has lots of seafood because it is surrounded on 3 sides by the sea. Nevertheless, why do South Koreans prefer North Korean seafood? Because South Koreans believe that North Korea does not pollute its seas on account of it being less industrialized. Number 3. Public transportation. In North Korea, your tram or trolley ride to work won't cost you anything. Public transport is the predominant means of travel and it is free of charge. The transport ranges from locally built to imported trolley buses and trams. There are regularly scheduled arrivals and everything runs like clockwork. Number 2. Social classes. One thing unique to North Korea is that there is very little social inequality. In fact, on paper at least, the highest salaries are reserved for the working and peasant classes. Number 1. Leisure activities. Everyone loves to have a fun long weekend and an activity. In North Korea, they have already built shopping centers, specialty shops, restaurants, and fast food outlets, amusement parks, water parks, equipped beaches, ski resorts, racetracks, ice skating rinks, sports stadiums, and theaters. North Korean citizens are required to work 7 hours per day, but they are also afforded 3 days of rest. All North Korean citizens can participate in all kinds of artistic and sporting activity free of charge. So do the positives mentioned in this video make North Korea a great country? Of course not. North Korea is a country with a very bad and mostly well-earned reputation. Saying that something is like North Korea would be equal to saying that something is cruel and oppressive. However, when asking the question, does this country have its upsides, we can see that in some regards, North Korea might not always be the hell it is made out to be, no matter how bad its public image is. At a minimum, some of the accounts shared by those who fled North Korea would suggest that they don't entirely want their country to be seen as that perceived hell. Thank you for watching Exit 10. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and we will see you in the next video.